Hey there, Commercial Construction Coffee Talk fans. Thanks for chiming in. My name's David Corson. I'm your host. I'm also the publisher and editor of Commercial Construction Renovation Magazine. This is what it used to look like. We're digital now. I just grabbed an archive here. Issue 2, 2021. I had the founders of Cavera Skin Therapy. They're beautiful facilities, and we appreciate them gracing the cover. Let's see how big this one was. This one was 164 pages, and let's see what I was doing. This was actually 1980 Remembrance, the hockey team beating the Russians up in Lake Placid, and actually played. We went up to Lake Placid a couple weeks before the Olympics that year. I was a junior in prep school, and we went up with the Princeton Day School, and we played Lake Placid High School on Friday night, and or on Saturday, and then Sunday morning Northwood, and then we drove back. And what an amazing experience! And I've got the Jim Craig goalie on photo on my wall, but it was an amazing experience, and I'll remember where I was, and I played on the ice, and but it's always nice to hold the magazine to see what see what I was doing. Actually, I had my hair was a little more brown, but I have a little more on my head right now. But in any event, it's always nice to hold it, but I don't miss the printer. I don't miss the post office, and you can just do so much more digitally and reach more people. And it's just it's I guess it's the wave of the future. But in any event, you know people are always like, "Hey, you should go back and print." No, no, no. I'm done with the printer. I'm done with the post office. And for all of you out there that find, making the transition from print face to face 5 years ago was the scariest thing I ever did. And but for all of you that find us on the web consuming our content, I am emboldened to you as you're gold in my eyes. You're just it's just amazing where we were and where we are today. Complete different company, and it's been an amazing ride. And I couldn't have done it without you. So I really, really appreciate that. It's a little chilly out here this morning. First real chill that we had up here in North Georgia. Still no clouds in the sky. We got a little rain over the weekend, which we needed. But some of you know, I built this house with my wife. She designed it, and we self-built it, and it took 14 months. And I'm out here on the patio. That's real woods behind me, about 60 acres, and bears, coyotes, deer, badgers. Snakes. You can name it. Nature's behind me, and. But I like doing. I said to myself, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go do them out in the patio, and I've been doing them since. But once it gets cold, I'm going back to the studio where it's warm and the neon lights and all that. But uh, it's lake life, nothing like it. Really quiet at night, and neighbors are all nice, and just it's been an amazing ride. But building the house, I'm still married to my wife, of 30 plus years, and we made it through. Everybody told me not to do it, but we're on to our next projects, and she just went out to do a site visit, and it was fun. And I hear there's a shortage of houses in America. I don't know, but so we're going to do our share, build a couple spec homes a year for some people, and get the keep busy, as they say. But in any event, today I have a nice gentleman all the way on the other side of the world. He's just outside of he's in Israel, and his name is Avi Pinsky, and he's a consultant. He helps people that are in the construction skilled trades find ways to save money and kind of know what's coming down the pike. And everybody's so busy with the projects, they don't look at their numbers, they don't look at their books. And as an entrepreneur or a business person that own your company, you got to look at your books every morning. You got to know what's in there, what's out there, and in case something comes up, you're prepared. So I can't stress that enough. The first thing I do is just go into my bank account to see if it got hacked, you know, right? So Avi, say hello to our listeners out there at Commercial Construction Coffee Talk from Israel.
Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and you're about what, 20 minutes outside of
Yeah, about 20 minutes north of Jerusalem.
yeah, all right, awesome.
Yeah.
So the reason I had Avi on is At the end of the year, everybody's kind of finishing their projects and trying to get their stores done before Thanksgiving, and then they kind of go into that oh, it's the holiday mode and so forth, and then the New Year's come, and then they kind of get right back into the swing of things, and instead of taking a look, my suggestion is that once you get those stores done and you go in, you use your time wisely before the end of the year and look financially where you are, what your you know your AR reports are, and how you can possibly scale your business, or maybe you're looking to hire a new business development person. Whatever, it all takes money. Money, it's like building. You got to have dirt to build. To grow your company, you got to have finances or money or dollars in the bank. So I just thought it was apropos. And everybody does a New Year's resolution. How about doing a New Year's resolution for your company and seeing how financially stable it is? So, Avi, the way it's going to work is we'll do it in three parts. You're going to tell your story, where you grew up, where you went to school, sports, kids, whatever, and how you ended up where you are today. And then we'll talk
Mhm.
about lessons learned from the last 5 years of the roller coaster that we've all been on, and any trends or new products that
Yeah,
you see. And then you'll leave your contact info, one positive thought or word, and then we'll close out the episode. So, with that said, the floor is yours.
yeah,
Tell us your story.
yeah. Yeah, so again, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here. Just to piggyback on what you said about the end of the year, it's a great time to reflect, right? I think the looking at your numbers is very good to know where things are holding, but what I like to focus on is using that information of what happened in the past, where things have been, and how you got to where you are in order to figure out how to grow from there and how to have a brighter future. So it's not just a matter of seeing, do I still have any money in the bank, but it's also, okay, what's gone right, what's gone wrong. So, November, December time is a great time to reflect. How has the year gone? Is it, am I happy with where things are? And where do I want to set my goals and my targets for the future? So 100% great time of the year to start thinking about your business and about the finances, because that's really what's driving your business. So, you need that you need to have some sort of finger on the pulse of that information, that data. Yeah. So my story: I grew up in Los Angeles, California. I went to school in New York. Married my wife from Jersey, and we lived in the New York, New Jersey area for a handful of years, about 5 years, and then we moved to Israel a little over 9 years ago. So did East Coast, West Coast, and now I guess I'm international.
Yeah.
And like you said, the world has gone a lot more digital, so I can work along, all over the world, and everybody can at this point. It's a lot more convenient. Um, my background is in business accounting, right? I started out with a bachelor's in accounting, and I got a master's, and I worked in taxation for U.S. companies. So, started out working in the New York, Manhattan area, and kind of took that with me across the Atlantic, and was working for international companies that had some sort of Israeli connection, but they still needed to file their U.S. taxes. And it didn't take long to be disillusioned and disappointed by the tax world. Anybody who does taxes, it takes a special type of person to do that for their whole life.
I've been with my
And
CPA for like 25 years, almost 30 years, I think. You
yeah,
find one that you like that has the same vision with you and you hang with them. It's like there's
for
three
sure.
people in life that you should have. You need to have a doctor because he knows everything about you, okay? Because if you don't have your health and you don't live, what you have no life. Number two,
Exactly.
you got to have a good attorney. Once again, it's got to have the same vision, where you're going to go and all that. And then you got to
Yeah.
have a CPA. Those three people,
Yeah.
besides your loved ones and everybody else, those three people, if you're an entrepreneur, those are your inner circle dudes. In the case of
Yes.
emergency or catastrophe or whatever it's going to be, those are the guys you go talk to and bounce stuff off of and figure out. Not your friends, not you go to the professionals. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah. I want to throw another one in there though. I
Okay, go
think
ahead.
you need some sort of CFO in your business as well, right? Now your CPA can, in theory, fill that role, but in practice, most CPAs don't. right? Now, so I want to clarify what's the difference between a CPA and a CFO. So the CPA is typically looking backwards. They're looking at in the rear view mirror and just reporting on what happened, making sure your business stays compliant with tax laws and all that. It's important, it's necessary, but it's his job, right? You as the business owner, as long as you delegate that he's doing what he needs to stay compliant, so fine. Your vision should be towards the future, right? Towards the right when you're driving the car, where you don't look in the rearview mirror the
Yeah,
whole
you're
time.
moving
You
forward.
look forward, right?
Yeah.
The rearview mirror is tiny, the windshield is much bigger because that's where your focus is supposed to be, right? So you as the business owner, you have to have a forward focus. And while the CPA might have the expertise and the information to give you that insight, they oftentimes don't have the bandwidth, and it's almost certainly not in their job description. So you need somebody who can help you with understanding what is the path, what does the past teach you about your future and how to have a more prosperous growing business. So that's where you need some sort of CFO type of professional. Um, and kind of the mixing together with that doctor, right? Just like you need your personal health, so you need your business to be healthy as well, right? So what is a healthy business? It's one that's fulfilling its primary function, just like your body has certain functions that have to be going on in order to to keep you going. So you have your personal doctor for that. So the CFO is kind of more like your business's doctor, seeing is it actually performing the functions that the business is supposed to be doing, and that being make money, right? And nobody's opening a business because they want the business to exist. They're doing it because they have certain needs that need to be met, and the business is hopefully providing them with those needs, right? It's hopefully providing them with cash flow to pay their personal bills, to send their kids to school, to pay for their cars, their mortgage, whatever it is. And originally that's why I went into accounting, because I wanted to help people with that type of insights into their lives, whether on personal or the business fronts. It didn't take long to realize that that's not what accountants are typically doing, at least not tax accountants. So only a couple of years ago, after doing that for about a dozen years, did I stumble upon this world of CFOs, and it really it hit me in the face. This is what I was always trying to get towards with my career. And after, like I said, about a dozen years of searching, so we're talking now 3 years ago, I stumbled across it, and I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. This is the calling that I have, to actually give help in a meaningful way that's going to potentially change somebody's life for the better. They can expand their business, hire more people, support more families. And instead of pulling their hair out, trying to figure out why their business is profitable on paper, but when they go to the bank, there's nothing there. Right. So figuring out what went wrong, what do they have to do differently so that they can, instead of killing themselves for nothing, they can actually have something to take home at the end of the day. Right. Again,
Yeah.
that's why they start their business. And unfortunately, that's usually not the case. So that's kind of how I ended up here. Both, from an Israel, how did I get to Israel
Yeah.
perspective, as well as this business that I started.
Hey, when I started out, I did my books. Then, as I grew, I got a CFO for the company, and then when the crash happened, I had a couple partners. I bought them out and sold one of my magazines that I had built, and um, then became smaller. And I just learned how to do QuickBooks myself and did it. I do them myself, and now I'm lean and mean, and I am what I am, and try to use technology as much as possible. I've been on QuickBooks forever, and they this year they changed their pricing models and they absolutely gouged us with depending on how many firms it was thousands and thousands of dollars where I would pay to get the desktop version for like $500. This year
Mm,
1,700, and
wow.
there aren't that many people, and that was just to get the desktop. Because if you went online,
Yeah.
and they're trying to push everybody online, and I asked them, I said, "Is there backup?" No, there's no backup. I'm like, What good does that do me if I can't back up my file? Do you know how many breaches I get notified on in a month? Okay,
Probably a couple dozen.
Yeah. So what's you to say that you're not going to tell me about the breach until 3 or 4 months later after,
Yeah,
everything's gone? I need the backup. So
yeah,
they said, "Oh, I've got this. We got the desktop version and this and that. But eventually you're just going to have to go to the cloud." I go, Someone else will come out. An entrepreneur will come out to be able to build a platform where you can take your QuickBooks stuff that will be transferable, so you won't lose any of that stuff. I've been around for 25. I've got almost 30 years of QuickBooks. If anybody's going to buy my company down there, they're going to want to have all that stuff, just like the
yeah,
archives
for
from
sure.
the magazine and that kind of stuff. So, um, uh, but knowing where you're at every morning. First of all, you can go to bed at night knowing that you have money in the bank. The only
Yes,
reason I get up and the first thing I do is just log into my account, because I don't trust the banks either. Those guys get hacked too, and you just
for
don't know.
sure.
So you'd work hard every day. You might as well make sure your money's there. You lock your door at night. Hey, you want
Yeah,
to make sure your money's there too in the morning, especially when you got
exactly.
payroll coming up. So, but if you can find a CFO once again, and I agree with you with that, I'll add that person to my fourth person. The only reason I don't have is because I do it. But
Mhm.
I got my hands in a couple of things, and I told my wife a couple of weeks ago, I was like, you know what? If things go the way I think they are in 2026, I'm gonna hire someone to do the books, and but you gotta trust them because they're gonna know everything
Yeah,
about you, and you just you're gonna divulge a lot of stuff. The three people I mentioned, your attorney, the doctor, the CPA, he knows everything about you. He knows who you are, how much money
yes,
you make, the tax man. He knows everything about you. Okay, all three.
yeah,
And the CFO as well. Not only is he going to be inside your company, he's going to be your partner because
for
he's going to
sure.
take that stuff off your plate where you're worrying about stuff and be able to go in there anytime that you want and you can find it. And if I'll tell you, if you have a company and you're using QuickBooks, uh, I suggest that you learn how to do it. It's not complicated. It's a digital checkbook.
Yeah,
That's all it
yeah,
is. And it's push button 101. If you can do plugins and build websites or do any of this stuff, you can do QuickBooks. I'm not telling you to become a CPA professional, but just to know how to run a report, a P&L, your accounts receivable, whatever it might be, or to print a W-9 or a 1099, whatever it might be, which I think are all waste of paper. But it's myself, like here in America, like you're in Israel, like here in America, a lot of us we're waiting for the IRS to go away, and we're
yeah,
hoping that it goes away next year, and that
yeah.
this past year will be my last year that I'm going to pay taxes, and I hope property taxes go away too because I never own my home
100%.
in place. It's a ripoff, and with building my house, I know that my county can run this county with one building. They don't need all these buildings that they have. They need a courthouse, they need a jail, and they need a place where you can where the building department or whatever can be done. But they don't need all of this stuff.
Yeah,
It is absolutely out. It was mind blowing to see everybody had their hand out when I went to get my permits, and they say they only take uh, 2 weeks for your septic tank, and then another 2 weeks, and you'll get your building permit. And that's if your building permits are completely perfect. Not going to
yeah,
happen. Okay. Four and
yeah.
a
When
half months. They made me change my address. They made me move my septic tank. They made me move the storm drain. They made me do this. They made me do this. You go through the inspection. They nitpick you. Not because they want to, because they want your house to be safe, which I appreciate. However,
yeah,
just the waste of paper and time. They're not on the same. The septic tank guys and the environmental health department don't know what the water guys do. They don't.
exactly.
So when I went down to get my certificate of occupancy, when I finished my build, I wanted to make sure all my reports there because I was going to have my construction loan was going to get audited, and just to make sure everything was in place before I converted it to whatever was left over for my mortgage. And I told the lady at the desk, I said, you guys should really get a platform that where everybody can log in because I'm waiting for my certificate of occupancy. It's going to take 3 or 4 hours, but you're waiting on this other person to put it in theirs. And if you were all on the same platform, everybody could see.
Yeah,
It's true collaboration. And
yeah,
there's so many municipalities that don't do that. I'm not coming down to municipalities. I'm just saying uh, what I learned and what I knew was, I knew that there was, some bloated governments out there. Trust me,
yeah.
you know,
Inefficiencies.
yeah, and but they're all good people. and they're just doing their gig, and but there's definitely room for improvement, and
Yes, yeah.
things should
I
go.
when I was still working in the tax world, there was a tax a big tax bill coming down the pipe from the IRS, and I was hoping that it would put me out of a job because I think, like you said, like there's a lot of stuff that's bloated, that's unnecessary, and the tax forms are convoluted on purpose almost. And I was hoping that the tax law would simplify it to a point where we wouldn't need so many tax accountants. Um, but yeah, that's kind of where I think that the CFO their job, like you said, so you need to know, you need to understand the accounting because the accounting is the language of business. So every business owner needs to have some sort of background, some sort of understanding of what they're looking at in a P&L. But when it comes to using that information to make decisions, so having that basic understanding will help you, but it's always good to have someone who's got a deeper understanding of what those numbers mean that can help guide you in that decision making process. So, like, yeah, 100% learn how to do your books. Even if you're not going to do them, you should learn how it works, what things mean, learn the terminology, get that basic education under your belt 100%. Otherwise, your CFO, your accountant, your bookkeeper, they'll talk to you, they'll tell you information, and it's going to go right over your head. You have no idea what they're talking about. So you need to understand the vocabulary at least. Yeah, 100%.
I'll tell you, we had a representative here named John Linder, and he wrote a book with this guy named Neil Bortz. He was a radio host, and it was called The Fair Tax. The Fair Tax. There were two books, really soft cover. Really, you could read them in a day. Mind blowing. Uh, there's a social security, there's a blanket in there. There's a benchmark where if you're, on the lower income scale, that there's help for you, but everybody pays the tax, 22%. Doesn't matter if you're
Yeah,
an illegal, if you're a visitor, if you're a patriot, whatever it might be. Everybody's paying it versus 75 million people trying to foot the whole bill for everybody else. And it was only on
yeah,
new stuff, not on old stuff. And it was so cool. You put a postcard in the mail, but I asked my CPA, I said, what happens if the IRS goes away and they get rid of the taxes and they put the fair tax in or whatever it might be? Uh,
yeah,
this was before the tariffs came into play. I was an economics major, so I understood. Economic policy was what I studied in college, besides ice hockey and lacrosse. And
yeah,
but the the thing was that taxes were only supposed to be it was a short term. I don't even know. People say they're voluntary, but the bottom line is they were only for the premier people, and then little by little it dwindled down. It's kind of like a
yeah,
toll booth, in Jersey. The toll booths were only supposed to be there. They were a nickel to go through. Now they're a buck probably. I have no idea. Here in Atlanta,
yeah.
they had the toll booths
More
up
than
to
that.
400, and they actually took them off. I was shocked. I'm like, oh, I love the state of Georgia. Well, they have property tax, but they took the toll booths away. That was a good thing because they said that they were going to do it. But
Yeah,
tax is it, it goes to a good thing if it's not abused by the people that are collecting the money. And right now in the States right now, as you know, we're in a shutdown. And
yeah.
they just laid off, I think, 35,000 IRS agents. I was happy. I'm like,
Oh,
look, good. Let's get rid of these guys, sell that building. There's plenty. And I asked, like I said, I asked my CPA, so what happens? He goes, oh no, David, big companies, they're always going to need me. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Don't worry about me. I'm third generation CPA. But it could happen. I'll believe it when I see it, but the
yeah,
moment
me too.
there that it could happen. And but you need
It
to look.
could. I would be happy, but I'm skeptical that it ever will.
Yeah.
But
Look,
I would love to be wrong.
but you know what? It would be awesome to have a simple, like a third grader could read the tax code and get through it, because that's really the way
Yep,
it should be. And you should be able to just,
yep,
you shouldn't even, I don't even think you need to even spend that, a card in the mail. It's like the 1099s. I think that's a waste of paper. I got to go and spend someone to pull those, mail them, email them, whatever, and all they do is get stuck in a folder, and eventually they get shredded. Why? They
yeah,
have it in their system. We have it in our system. Uh,
correct.
I believe they can find out whatever they want about you. Okay.
There's
So
a lot of
why do they make
information
it?
that
But it's so that's the reason why I don't miss the post office too, because it's a fifth century outfit. It is so archaic. The people don't like their jobs, and it's very melancholy when you go in there. And I was dealing with the bulk guys. I would go in the back of the post office where no one ever sees anything, and
yeah,
periodical rate because I had circulation and this and that, and all the rules and the regulations, and so I have kind of a different perspective than a lot of people do. But it's an archaic thing. It needs to be
for
privatized,
sure, for
and
sure. Yeah.
but I know we have to build roads. We got to have infrastructure. We got to money to do that, and it should be a private, public partnership, in my opinion. And
Mhm.
but what you know, it the amount. What's the amount of hours that a normal person spends on taxes per year? You know that. You know what? If
Yeah,
you're
more
doing
than
it
they should.
yourself, right? You look at it and you're like, oh my God, I work hard to do all this stuff to make sure I my books, and then I got to go through all this paperwork, and then you don't even know what's going to happen. You digitally put them in, and hopefully, listen, if you pay tax, that means you're making money. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
You're running in
yeah,
the
for
black. You're
sure.
not in the red. However,
Yeah, that
right?
yeah, that's another thing that people a point of contention, let's say, between myself and some tax accountants is that their tax accountants is always focused on how do I get your tax bill to zero, right? Or as low as or as close to as possible. Whereas my opinion is similar to what you said. If I'm paying taxes, it's because I'm making money. So a tax accountant might say to you, "Oh, you've got $1 million in profit this year. Let's go buy some equipment or buy this or that, whatever, to get the deduction to lower your account to lower your tax bill." That might be all nice and good to save that 20, 30, whatever percent on your tax bill, but it's not always going to be the best thing for the health of your business to be spending all that money up front, right? Spending that 100% on that new tractor or
Mhm.
whatever gadget that you're getting in order to save the 40% or 30% on the tax bill down the road. So that's kind of why another way that you need that CFO to balance out the CPA. It's not just a matter of the tax bill. It's also, do I have the cash to buy such and such equipment or to invest in such and such building or whatever it is. Um, it's a different focus, right? So while yeah, we want to get the taxes down as low as possible, we don't want to necessarily put the business at risk in order to do that. Um, so yeah, but again, I'm with you on as little a tax as possible, assuming all other factors are even.
Hey, look, I just I've been around forever. I'm 62. Hopefully I'll go for another. I think the average age I just looked at. I went to a funeral a couple weeks ago, and I came home and I looked up what the average age of American male born in 2023, how long it's 75.6 years. So I did the math. I'm 62. I'm like, oh, I got 4,800 days left. I better make the best of them, man. And I certainly don't want to I want to pay as least tax as possible, but I also want to have the roads
Yeah,
nice. You know,
yeah.
there's a town over here. It's a high school. They just built like $100 million football stadium for high school. All right.
Wow.
And my wife and I,
Wow, wow.
we had to go do a site visit for one of our projects. And we're driving through this town. I'm like, these roads suck. Oh my
Yeah,
God, there's potholes everywhere, rough roads, and they just spent $100 million on the freaking stadium, and the roads are terrible. Wh-
yeah.
what's the deal?
Something's not adding up.
Yeah. So I was like, oh my God, they could have built it for 80 and spent 20 million on the streets here and save some people some shock absorbers or whatever, shocks on their car going bad. But I mean, it was eye-opening. And I knew I had seen
Yeah,
pictures of it, but we drove by it and I was like, oh my God, and they're in a battle, Georgia football, they're in a big, high school football. Everybody wants the big stadium and all that. But listen, it's a sploss thing that I get them all the time. Hey, add a penny. It is that penny really worth it? Do you make sure? And but as a business person, uh, like I said, if I'm paying tax, I'm making money. But there's ways that you
yeah,
can reduce your liability and still make that money. And that's why
Yes,
you have a professional. And you can call
for
him a
sure.
CFO, you can
Yeah,
call him a controller, you can call him whatever you want. You just want to make sure that you trust him and that he's on the same page as you. And
100%. Yeah.
yeah,
He
yeah.
definitely needs to be somebody who's a partner with you, who's, got shares the same vision as you and understands what it is that you're trying to accomplish with your business. What are you trying to get out of it? Are you, do you what is your mortgage and your tuition and car payment? What do those look like that you need to be able to get out of the business? Is there some pet project that you want to start funding through your business, and how much is that going to require? And how much are you trying to grow your business, right? Maybe you want to keep it at the same level that it's at. Maybe you want to grow it 10x, 2x, whatever. Uh, do you want to give it off to your son? Are you looking to sell it? Are you looking to buy new companies and expand it? Right? All of these things are going to play into your all these parts of your vision are going to play into what do you need to do in order to get there, right? What's the path forward towards accomplishing these things? And he has to be on board with that. He has to understand it, and he has to have a way to help you accomplish it. Right? It can't just be somebody who's got his own myopic vision of what a business should look like. He has to take your vision into account. He's working for you, obviously.
See, a lot of our contractors, they're not just going to build like in Brooklyn. Some of them
Yeah,
will, but a lot of my guys, they're national. They're dealing with national brands. They build all over the world, or just in the states, or the states and whatever. But the bottom line is, if you don't know what the taxes are in those other states or those other, you got to know because every
yeah,
state is not the same. They all have their rules and
correct. Yeah,
regulations. They have their loopholes that you should know about. And that's why you have a professional on your side because you just can't
yeah,
do it all. There's only so many seconds in a day. You have to, as an entrepreneur, if you're the captain of the ship, okay, man, you need to have
yeah,
deckhands. You need to have an so having a financial professional that can guide you and get through all the legalese and word salad that you have to read and go, what the heck does this really mean? Tell me in
yeah,
a third grade English what it is.
exactly.
Uh, and so that's kind of where I'm at. But I listen, it's like I said, but I liked it. That fourth person, that's a good person. I
Yeah.
learned something today. I learn something new every day. You know.
It's a
Um,
good goal to have.
so
Always try to learn and improve.
talk about the last 5 years, though. You moved to Israel. March 2020 comes, everything gets shut down. How did you weather
Yeah.
the storm? And your clients?
Yeah. Also, I was still in the tax world at that point. I was working for the Israeli equivalent of KPMG, one of the big four accounting firms.
Sure.
So all of the big four have Israeli affiliates. So I was working for the KPMG affiliate at the time. Yeah, I mean, just like everybody else, our offices were basically shut down. We were working from home. I got a nice, desk chair and a nice computer screen and set up a home office. And yeah, that was a wonderful time. Thankfully, since all of our work is virtual and it's all on the cloud, I hear your contention with QuickBooks being on the cloud and not having a backup is certainly an issue, which they should have some sort of backup option. But from the perspective of the people that have to share the information with each other, it's pretty convenient to not be reliant on a desktop version. So we were still able to get our work done and everything. And then about after we were doing that for a couple of years, that's when I decided to move on and do it all on my own. Stop doing accounting altogether, stop doing taxes altogether, just because I hated it so much,
Yeah.
and started connecting with people and helping people in a meaningful way instead of just getting that annoying checkbox done every year, filing their tax returns and getting that out of their hair. I was, started helping them actually uh, doing something meaningful with my time that's going to actually impact their lives and make their lives better. Uh, on the side, I developed a hobby. I think everybody developed a hobby during the pandemic. Mine started a little bit before, but I started doing woodworking. I got a little bit
Oh,
more
good for
serious in it
you.
at that point. I started with finding pallets on the side of the road. So I made things out of pallet wood. I made these coasters that
Oh,
look like
cool.
pallets out of pallets. I've made other trinkets around and whatnot.
So you had to buy
And
some
that's
tools.
kind of
What's your favorite tool that you bought?
uh, my favorite tool that probably my router. It's a trim router. It's not great because being that I'm in Israel, so the electricity is all 220 here.
Yeah.
So I try to get as many things because all the tools that I buy are oftentimes from America. And when my parents or in-laws come to visit, they'll bring some along, or when I go visit,
220,
I'll bring
220.
some. Well, so I try to just get everything battery powered, and I've got a
Yeah.
converter, and I put my charger into the converter, and I'm good. So I'm on Makita on everything just because I already have those batteries.
Yeah.
So I got as much Makita stuff as I can, and so the battery powered router at that time was the trim router. So I don't do anything like huge and massive that it's not sufficient for my needs. Obviously, it's not ideal for some of the things that I'm using, but I get by. Take shallower cuts, go slower,
Measure
and it makes
twice,
the
cut once.
exactly, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's kind of where I developed this preference. We'll call it a preference to work with other blue collar people because I feel like that's kind of more my personality. Even though I'm working in accounting, it's a white collar job. I'm a blue collar person in a white collar job. That's the way I look at it.
Hey,
Yeah,
if you have the right tools, if you have the right tools and you have YouTube to go to check it out and how
yeah,
things move, you can do anything. You could be a brain surgeon, in my
exactly,
opinion. Hey, you can have AI in there help you too, but it's
exactly.
just like accounting. Hey, if you got the right software and this and that, you can figure out
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff.
Right before I came to my office today, I was changing I was doing some plumbing and electrical work for my wife. We had an appliance that I need to change the plug. I'm still in the middle of that. We broke our sink, so I have to fix that. I have to change the faucet. I went to the hardware store, got the supplies, and then before I was able to actually do the work, I had to come running over here to the office. So yeah, I'm
and
doing
it's
a little bit of
fulfilling. Hey, I
a
did
little
that,
bit of
man,
everything.
right? I
Yeah,
fixed
you
that,
actually
man.
feel like yeah, you look at the sink and I did that. I built that. I hung that shelf. I hung that picture. I built that bench. I do something with my time.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, after things kind of settled down, as you look back, and now we're in the Q4 of 2025, going into 2026. What do you see? I mean, listen, everything's so up in the air with the tariffs and this and that, and I understand why we're doing it. I mean, we've had tariffs a long time in
Yeah,
the United States, and at one point between I think it was 1871 to 1913, before the central bank came into play, we had more money than we knew what to do with, and it was all on tariffs. And
yeah,
so I'm all for it. I just think that when the central bank came in, the third one, which I want to see go, that and what's going to happen? There are some good. I'm going to get back to my IRS thing. There are some good people that were laid off in those 35,000 people that got laid off. There are plenty of jobs in the private sector for them. However,
yeah,
those people might want to learn how to do woodworking, or they might want to become an electrical guy, or
exactly.
because we're going to need it. The economy's going to explode, interest rates come down, housing's going to boom, everything's going to go crazy in this world. And as far as so, it's an opportunity now.
For sure. Yeah,
And believe me, the government, they're going to keep some of the good ones in there for the treasury. Whichever way they're going to do it, they're going to keep some of those good guys in there. It's not like everybody's just going to
yeah,
so there's dead weight in every company. There's always
yeah,
that weak
for
person
sure.
that you don't need. It's like if you want to build a professional team that's a winner, you're going to lose a couple of games. You're going to win most
For
of them.
sure.
You got to have some of the best players. You want to be the best, you got to
Yeah,
play the best. You got to have the best. So I'm not. I'm all for the reorganization gig, and
yeah,
but I don't want my money wasted. I don't. I
yeah,
want it to go for certain things, and I just don't want to see inefficiencies. I mean, uh, here in the States, it's just like our transportation system. It's archaic. They're still do.
yeah,
It should be all. It should be all be upgraded, and uh,
yeah.
and uh,
100%.
Yeah, and you got nothing to hide. Hey, here you go. I mean, they can find anything they want. You might as well let's just make it easy. So it's a two-way street communication. Treat me like a person, not like I'm a thief. And
Yeah.
right, and but once again, it all goes back. If you're going to business for yourself, you went into business for yourself to make money. You got to make sure you know how to handle money, that you're not paying yourself, you're overpaying yourself. If I had to do something over, I wouldn't have taken as much money as I did in the beginning. And but everybody does it. And you think,
Yeah.
but after I've been around 25, 30 years, now I'm like, you know what? I pay myself a modest salary. I leave money in the bank. I like having it in there. It's for the company. I don't want to pay tax, so you've got to massage and figure out where you're going to put that stuff. All
Yeah.
legal, and
Yeah.
that you got to have money for a rainy day too. You got to have that rainy day
For
fund,
sure.
and
Yeah.
then if you have kids and stuff, you want to be able to make sure that that they're going to have something that you'll leave to them. I have one kid; he's going to get everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so there's a lot of things that go into not just running your company. You got to think about all those things. And
Yeah.
uh, do you see any trends that are coming down the pike? People just think, oh, accounting it changes. Trust me. So what do you
Yeah.
see? What do you see as we finish up 2025 and going into 2026?
I mean, so taxes definitely changes, right? That changes on a regular basis. That was one of the things that I didn't like about it so much. The basics of accounting and understanding what your numbers are telling you, fortunately for me, I don't think that really changes much. An asset's an asset, a liability is a liability, income and expense, they're always going to mean the same thing. They've been the same thing for hundreds, if not thousands of years at this point. So I don't see a lot changing there. What what changes do I see? So yeah, there's definitely a lot of blue collar trades jobs that are unfulfilled. Too many people I think were pushed into colleges in the
Oh
last few
yeah.
decades, and not enough electricians, not enough plumbers, welders, construction workers, and I'm I worry what that's going to mean in the future. As people like yourself and people in that generation start retiring, I worry what that means for the consumer. I think it means a lot of opportunity for the people who are in the trades, um, to both move up the ladder, to buy their own companies, to start their own businesses, and at the same time, though, that's also a potential stumbling block for those people. If you are going to move up in the ladder, become management, become a business owner, you have to understand these things of how taxes work and how your finances work. Fortunately, there's a lot of resources out there for people to learn. Um, and it's not difficult to get a basic education on business finances and how to make the right decisions. You need to prioritize that in your education at some point if you are going to move into that role. So yeah, I think there's opportunity for them for people who are want to go into it, want to start their own business, want to go into the trades. Just watch out for the pitfall of lack of knowledge.
Do they have shop class in the high schools in Israel?
I don't know. I haven't had kids in high school yet.
Yeah. Well, like they took shop class out of the high. I had shop class when I'm 62,
Yeah,
so I'm giving my age away. But bottom line is, I went to shop class when I was in junior high,
yeah,
and I remember I
yeah.
built
We didn't
this.
have that.
Yeah, I built this. With the circular saw and all that. I built this toolbox for my dad and varnished it and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah, some guys did simple stuff. I was like, oh, I'm gonna build a toolbox. So I thought it was,
I uh, I
but
had wood shop in a summer camp one year, and I made a little clock, which was
yeah.
that was really the only thing I built until I got married. And then I made a shelf for my wife, and that was the last thing I built until I was basically 30 years old. So I built two things in my first 30 years, and now I don't have a whole lot of time to do it, but I can't get enough of building when I do get the rare opportunity to do it. I love it. It's working with your hands is there's almost nothing better.
My family's been in construction, demolition, and recycling since 1888. It's fifth generation, and
Wow.
My
Wow.
son went the trade school route. We yanked him out his senior year. They wouldn't put him in the shop class because they said he didn't have the mathematics. I'm like, look, he's not interested in history. He's not in history, and then social science. And he wants to work with his hands. It,
Good
and
for you. That's awesome.
there's 3,000 people in this high school. If there's one person that needs to go in the shop class, it's him. I'm afraid
Yeah.
he can't do that. So we yanked him out. He went and worked at the garage. He got a waiter job. He did online school. Got hired by Boeing. 3 years now. He worked for FlexJet for a year. Now he just moved to Palm Beach and he's working for Gulfstream. And he went to
That's
air.
awesome.
Yeah, he went to FA mechanic school. But woodworking, welding, sheet metal, avionics. I mean, everything you need to know. And I mean, it was like
Yeah.
I looked at some of the textbooks. It was like physics or calculus. Trust me. And
Yeah.
to work on jet engines and airplanes, aeronaut, you got to know about lift and everything else. And
For
but
sure.
it but there is a shortage. And I told him he should have become a plumber because everybody needs water. You drink it, your body's not
Yeah.
garbage. You need heat. Be a plumber. We'll find someone that
That's what
doesn't have
I
kids. We'll
that's
get
what
an
I tell
apprentice.
my
We'll
my
buy it,
kids. Yeah.
and you'll be set for life. You'll be a millionaire. But
Yeah.
he went the FA, the aviation route. But they need 600,000 mechanics to work on jets, commercial,
Yeah.
whatever, military, whatever. And it's just unbelievable. And there's so many people. And when those guys go, the knowledge goes with them. The
For
way that it
sure.
used to be, and now they've gone through technology. I mean, these people are like a diamond. It's like an old school mechanic that knows how to use the computer, but he can go on in an old VW and fix the four-cylinder engine. And
Yeah.
those people are a dying breed. You're not going to be able to find them in
Yeah.
10, 15 years from now. Everything's going to be, oh, you just plug it in, the computer tells you what it is. No, there's a knock there. And the old guy could say, I know what that is. And so, what's your favorite
Yeah.
story so far one of your skilled trades where you took someone and you said, hey, man, you really need to do this. And he actually did it. And he's like, thank you so much for telling me that.
Uh,
Do you have one?
my favorite story. I have a very stupid story.
No,
Once.
no, it's not stupid. Go tell us.
It's I had a client where this is just a matter of looking at your numbers like we started with, looking at them and just seeing basic stuff, what's going on. He had these accounts receivables that were just growing by the day and just going crazy, and he couldn't figure out why. And I mean, he didn't really notice it. He had to get me to come in, look at his books, and realize, wait a minute, something's wrong here. Like that you're growing this quickly in your accounts receivable balance just didn't make any sense. And he's like, oh, you know what? Actually, yeah, I wonder what that is. And he looked into it, and his invoicing software, when you create an invoice, had a little checkbox, and the checkbox was defaulted to being unchecked. What was this checkbox? It said send invoice to client. Right?
Oh,
so,
that's going to kill your
so here he
cash
is
flow.
doing all this work,
And nothing's
generating
being
all this,
said.
revenue and all this profit, but the bill's never being sent to the
Yeah, it's
client.
not being
So
said.
you wonder why you're growing, why your business is, in theory profitable, but your bank account is just going down the tubes. So yeah, you just got to get that checkbox checked and then go back and issue all the invoices that you need. Such an easy fix, but all it requires is just a little bit of examination to see, wait a minute, something's wrong here with your receivables, right? And if you don't have somebody looking at that on some sort of regular basis, monthly, weekly, daily, whatever it is, somebody has to examine things just for a stupid idiot check, like it wasn't the biggest eureka moment that's going to turn around a company from going bankrupt to being profitable, but it's just a sanity check to see, are we doing the things that we need to do to generate money? And if we're not sending our bills to their clients, then no, we're missing a huge step in the process, and we're not going to make money that way.
As a publisher, we look at, I just don't proof it. My editor does, my art, we all look at it multiple times. By the time I'm looking, I've seen it a million times, but there's always going to be a typo that comes up, you don't catch it. In the old print days,
Yeah,
they would print it and then you'd be like, oh my God, we didn't catch that. We can't take the magazines back. Digitally, I can go in there and fix it really quick. But
yeah,
we look, I don't want any typos in there. I don't like any of that stuff. But I'm human. I'm going to make mistakes and learn
for
from them.
sure.
Same thing. And it's just a simple thing. Just, hey, let's take another hour. Let's read this thing. Let's make sure everything's in there, and then we'll post it. Uh,
Yeah.
so if you're out there in commercial construction coffee talk and you're in the trades, and you're growing, and you're thinking about, man, maybe I need to learn more about my money and managing it or running the business or whatever. If someone wanted to reach out to you to bounce some questions, even though you're halfway around, this is the beauty of technology. If
Yeah.
someone wanted to reach out to you to bounce some questions off you, how would they reach out to you?
Yes, they can go to my website, pinskyconsulting.com, Pinsky consulting.com. I've got a form there. You can get in touch with me. You can book a meeting with me. I have what I call my Pinsky's Prosperity Playbook. You can click the link at the top of my page, and there's a very simple Excel that anybody who has a basic knowledge of how to use an Excel can use to track their numbers and set their targets, set their goals, and see how is their business actually doing. How much cash do they project to be left with at the end of the day? And I've got a place there where you can keep a scorecard to see throughout the year, how are you doing towards meeting those goals? Where are you falling short? Where are you exceeding? Where you're doing okay? Where you can improve, and what do you need to do in order to improve? So you can download that, and make a meeting with me, and I can help you walk you through it. I usually give that complimentary to anybody who wants to download that workbook. And yeah, and you can also follow me on LinkedIn. You can link with me on Facebook. I'm not as active on Facebook. In LinkedIn, I'm more active in the direct messages. So feel free to
Sure.
shoot me any questions there, and I try to respond within 24 hours. Sometimes it's a little delayed,
Yeah, well,
but
you're
usually I
halfway
get
across
back
the
within
world. It's
24
okay.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I'll put all of I'll put all when I edit this, I'll put everything in your description, and I'll put some captions in here too, so when people are looking at it, they can write it down and stuff. So, but
sounds
listen,
good.
if you're looking for some help, and you don't like anybody you met, hey, here's a gentleman right here, man. He was living in the States. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, as long as he can help you. And take the Pinsky playbook and see what it is. I did not know you had that, but it sounds
Yeah,
really cool. I wish I would have known that years ago. I would have liked it. So,
yeah.
uh, um, as we finish up here, uh, if there was one positive thought or phrase that you'd like to leave with our listeners, what would it be?
I don't know if you would say this is a phrase, but something that I like to tell people a lot is focus more on that windshield than the rear view mirror, right? Look forward. Don't look in the past too much. Don't live in the past. It's there to gain information. It's not there to run your life and destroy your mindset, but have a positive mindset going forward, saying, how can I turn this around? How can I make things better? Um, yeah, I guess maybe we'll coin that as a phrase. Look more in the windshield than the rearview mirror.
No, listen, I run 5 to 7 miles a day, and I always talk about positive mindset and surround yourself with positive people. If they're negative, it's like cancer. You got to get rid of it. It's not worth it. There are 8 billion people on the planet. Find the people that want to play in your sandbox. Not everybody's gonna
Yeah,
like you. That's okay. And um, but the looking back at, I always talk about the scoreboard as an athlete. There's no, don't look back. If you want to look back and, okay, did we win 15-3 or was it 15-4? If you want to look back there at the scoreboard, but it doesn't change, you can't change the scoreboard. There's no reason to look back. Just look forward. If you have to remind yourself of what you did and you made that mistake, that's a good thing. But don't waste looking back because you can't change it. That's history.
yeah,
It's in the books. It's only a reminder of how well you did or you could have done better. That's the way I look. It's a scoreboard. If you move forward, build, but don't do the same thing. Don't be insane and keep doing the same thing over and over and think you're going to get a different,
exactly.
outcome. That's insanity. That's the definition of insanity.
Yeah,
So if you need to look back,
100%.
do it, but don't spend all day there. Move forward because that's where all your future sales are going to go. They're not there. They're looking forward. So
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So no, listen, I might steal that. I might tweet that in my video here tonight because I'm going to talk about it and say, hey, I had this guy on. He told me about the windshield and the rearview mirror. Oh man, see that totally registers with me. So a couple a couple things before we sign off. Number one, if you're on a construction site, we want you to be safe. We want you to get home, be able to have dinner with your wife, your spouse, your kids, your pets, watch some tube, get some REM sleep, be able to do it the following day. Number two, you got to stay liquefied. I don't care if it's winter coming up here in the States or wherever you might be in the world. It doesn't matter if it's summer or winter. You got to stay hydrated. If you stay hydrated, the athlete me, if I'm hydrated, I can make the pass. I don't miss the open net. If I'm dehydrated, I'll drop the ball. I'll make a lousy pass. I'll miss the net. On the construction site, same thing. You get a headache. You might slice your finger, get some stitches. We don't want any of that stuff to happen. And believe me, this little bottle of water, if you drink enough of it, put some electrolytes in there. Number one, you'll have a nice day on the site. But number two, you'll have a nicer night that evening. And number three, you're going to have a great sleep. You're going to get up better the following day. And it goes that much, you know, uh, from a safety issue. So drink your water. It's there for a reason. They have it in the big jugs, not because it looks good or it's cold. It's good for you. And last but not least, hit the like button. We want YouTube to push this out and find out about Avi and accounting and taxes and all that good stuff. So, and listen, like I said, if you're looking for someone and you don't have one in there, give them a call. He can help you. It doesn't matter where you are. This is technology. So, pleasure speaking with you, Avi. And listen,
Yeah,
uh,
that's great.
uh, I look at everything. Don't judge a book by its cover. Send us stuff. The reason why, how Avi got on, his publicist sent me a press release, and they were talking about. It. I was like, "Oh, here's another skilled guy. Oh, tax. Let's get this person on." So, look, we look at everything. Very tough to get in the magazine, but listen, we post all day. I have two nice ladies. Send it to me. We Google index it. We meta tag it. We send you the URL. It's a win-win. It's good for your search engine optimization. That's how Google finds you, your SEO. And listen, it's like playing the lottery. If you don't buy a ticket, you can't win. You don't send me something, you can't get
Exactly.
on the show. You can't get in the magazine. You can't get on the website. So it's just one of those things. And I look at everything. It could be a celebration. It could be a new product announcement. It could be a charity golf tournament that you're doing. What we look at everything. Believe me, I'll find a spot for it. All you have to do is send it to me. And our turnaround time is about 1 to 3 days, depending on how. Like right now, we're playing catch up, so we're a little backed up, but we're working through it. So, and it better to be busy than not these days. That's the way I look at it. So, uh,
Yeah.
Avi, any final thoughts before you sign off of outside of Jerusalem?
I had a great time. It was wonderful talking to you, seeing the woods behind you, seeing the nature is great.
Yeah,
I'm stuck
yeah,
in an office all day long, so it's nice to
yeah.
see
No,
trees and sunshine.
the people that own the land behind me, they've owned it. They're like fourth generation. Their families owned it, and the kids want to sell it. So there's a 10-year contract on there that the parents put on there, and then they've got to renew it, or the kids. And I'm hoping that they don't sell it, but eventually, I told my wife, "This is my last house I'm moving in, and next time it's the whole old folks home from here. If my kid will take me, that'll be great too." But uh, it. I sure hope they don't build because it really is nice back there, and I got
Yeah.
really good neighbors, so we'll take it from there. So, Avi, say goodbye from outside of Jerusalem.
Yeah. Again, thanks again for having me. This is really an amazing conversation. So much fun.
All right, and I'm going to sign off here from Lake Lanier, up in Cumming, Georgia. About 40 miles north of downtown ATL. And listen, it's you got Halloween coming up, then you got Thanksgiving, and listen, the holiday season is here. Then you got Hanukkah, Christmas, Festivus, New Year's, whatever it's all there in the next couple of months,
Yeah.
and then it's over. You close your books, you seal them, you put them in your stores, and then you start over in 2026. And it's
Yeah.
an amazing time to be alive, like I said. So, with that. Everybody, have a great week, and we will see you next time on another episode of Commercial Construction Coffee Talk. Avi, if I get to meet you over there or wherever, I look forward to it. All right.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Gotta
Cheers,
come to Georgia
everybody.
now.
We'll see you. See you, Avi. Pleasure.